You don't want to do this? You don't look like you do. Listen, the specialist counter-terrorism unit already know about a potential incident on this train. So what I'd like to do is just tell them that you're willing to talk. Does that sound okay to you? Just talk, is that a start? There's a second bomber, but we're talking.
So you play David Budd, a protection officer who ostensibly is looking after Keeley Hawes' Julia Montague. He's a complex character. Can you tell us, when you first started, what was it about David that you wanted to play? What was it about Jed's story there that interested you?
When I first picked it up, what kind of blew me away was this kind of moral grey zone that all the characters live in, and that can change regularly of the reasons why they do things and if they're good or bad. And with David Budd in particular, this man who's suffering kind of severe PTSD, in denial about it, has a really strong character and wants to do the right thing, and then thrust into a position of having to protect someone who he essentially hates and who's caused him to be in this position with the PTSD he's denying. So you kind of throw all that together, and then you maybe throw a little bit of sex in as well. And
he doesn't hate her for long, or he does, but different periods of time.
Love and hate are very, very close to each other, I think. And if you put a bit of passion in there, then that all kind of spirals out of control. And it's mostly this kind of very good man. And I loved kind of what he does, and what Jed did so brilliantly is play with the audience in that terms of what are people's motivations, if they are good or bad. And as an actor, that was a gift to play. And often we'd have takes where we'd shoot it and then have the camera right up in my face, and I could play it what's going on inside my head rather than what everyone else is seeing. So we kind of got to balance it out, and it gave me as an actor an opportunity to kind of be much more reserved, and then to kind of really kind of go deep into where he's at, and let the kind of brilliant editors piece that together and work it out.
Yeah, as you say, it's all of the characters, including David. Just even that clip we see there, you think that's the end of it, and actually everyone's kind of got this slight complex relationship. And let's talk. It's a fun action romp. There's a lot going on. There's it's explosive. But as you say there, it's elevated to a certain extent in the way that Jed's written the character, that he goes through all of these different emotions whilst also having to do this job, that the woman that you, as you say, at some point you hate because of what she's done to you. How was that difficult to get that across on screen?
It was difficult because the nature of these protection officers is they show nothing, which, as a lead character, that's not very useful, because then we can't kind of get into that person's head. But I think what was so good about Jed's writing and how Thomas directed it was we had this space where you saw him alone at home, or you see him with his wife and children. So we get to see these other bits of him that you don't think anyone's watching. At work he's watching and being watched, and at home he's very much not. And so I kind of got to straddle these two versions of him, or multiple versions that he's got within him, that are all kind of grappling at the same time to come out.
Yeah. Talk about working with Keeley. You have this incredible on-screen relationship, and it is very complicated, as you say. There's all sorts of different emotions in that.
Well, Keeley's just an outstanding actress. I had such a brilliant time with her every day, and was very, very sad to not have her in every episode. And we had quite a lot of jokes as well because of her thinking I'm calling her mum all the time, which I'm not. But she's just an outstanding, generous actress who knows how to look after someone else on set. And in a show like this, when it's so much, the camera's on, it's a one-person perspective, to have someone there who kind of would bring out the best and challenge me, and also just give me a laugh between takes, because it's not a comedy. And with Keeley, we get to have a bit of a laugh sometimes, which really helps kind of loosen things up.
Because it says you're calling her mum rather than
mum all the time. Yeah, please don't call me mum.